Well, hello, how you doing? This is the S. Anthony Thomas. This is the S. Anthony Says podcast, episode number 368. How are you doing, my friends? How the heck are you doing, my friends? Oh, thank you for everything. Every last one of you wonderful bastards who listen to this podcast. Thank you. Folks, I ran into some old friends of mine, which was fantastic. You know how great it is to run across people that you kind of grew up with, not just in general, like, if you run into someone that you grew up with in your old neighborhood, but I'm talking about people I grew up with in the world of comedy. And it's amazing how even though the memories that you have of things that happened are stored in your mind, you run across these people and all of a sudden the flow of wonderful things and the flow of weird things kind of pops up. You remember them, and all of a sudden it's like you're taken back in time. Now I'm 50, so a lot of the times the people I run into, like I said, I'm 50, and I was the baby of the group, or one of the two babies of the group. So the people I'm running into are 60, 65, 70, some of them. Obviously I have younger friends as well. Some of them a lot younger than me. They're in their 20s who do comedy and things of that nature. But it was really interesting in running into the people that were older than me or my age. It was interesting. You sit there and you talk for a while and you reminisce, you bring up names of people you haven't seen or heard from in a while. And as we talked, we realized there was one person that we hadn't seen for a while. And when we did the tally of how much money this person actually owed to each one of us as a collective, the person owes the group about $1,000, right? And none of us knew that the other person had loaned the person money. Now, this isn't a bad guy. He's not some unscrupulous mastermind or anything like that. But he was one of those guys that always borrowed a little bit of money from everybody. And it would always depend on how much money he thought you had. That's how much money he would borrow from you. And when we sat back and thought about it, we realized he basically, a lot of his conversations, I think maybe 30% of the conversations that we had with this cat back in that time was basically what I like to refer to as loan level check time. He was doing a loan level check. He wanted to find out what each person's loan level was. You ever watch a television program and they do a flashback and the person just realizes at that moment, upon reflection, what the person was actually doing, and at the time you didn't know? And I kind of went back in time and realized at the time I was just a kid, but I was making money at comedy. Not a lot of money, but making money. And he was checking my loan level on many occasions, and I didn't realize it. Back then, he'd ask for a 20 or something like that, and I didn't think much of it, you know what I mean? I didn't borrow $20. Hey, man, that's no problem. And he'd get it right back to you. So it really wasn't a problem. He asked for it. It didn't matter to me. He got it right back to me, so you don't even retain that. But now, when I think about those memories, it's almost as if, like I said, in those TV programs where you walk out of the room and then the sinister music comes up. Dun, dun, dun. And then he pulls a little notepad out from under the table. It's got a picture of you and it's got some numbers underneath it. And he writes down $20. S is comfortable loaning me $20. It's time to do a loan level check on this kid. I need to find out how much money this young punk is willing to loan me. And right now I know his loan level is at least $20. And when we thought about it, we realized he was doing that to everybody. He was doing a loan level check on everybody, all of us. Because at the time I was an MC. I was just breaking into the business. And there were some friends of mine that were headliners and features. And in the comedy business, as MC makes the least amount of money. Feature, which is the act in the middle, make the obviously more money. And headliner makes the most money. And all of a sudden he started doing loan level checks on my friends that were features. Now they just moved into the feature spot. None of them was making a ton of money, but they were making money. And he didn't do it while I was around because he had already done a loan level check on me. And he didn't want those fools to realize he was about to do a loan level check on their punk asses. So it was time for the loan. Okay, Phil. I was wondering, mental notes. S. Anthony's just a punk teenager, and he felt comfortable loaning me 20. This is a 30-year-old man. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can get way more money out of his punk ass. I'm gonna pay it right back, but I need to know what the level is. I was wondering if I could borrow $50. Yeah, sure. Sucker. Now I know his minimum is $50. And he pulls out a piece of paper with the picture of this particular person's name on it, writes down 50. The guy walks out of the room, and then that music comes up. And he looks at him and goes, your loan level's $50. Initial loan level, $50. Sucker. And he pays it right back. He was just checking his loan level. So now he wanted to find out about me, what my loan level was. He comes back to me. Last time he asked for 20. This time he asked for 40. And I go, 40. All right, but you got to get it back to me. Okay, kid, not a problem. Maximum loan level for S. His punk ass teenager punk ass is $40. Never ask for more than $40 from the kid. I don't want to push it. $40 maximum loan level. Dun, dun, dun. Now let's bring that punk ass feature back. He's older than this punk ass kid, makes more money. I'm going to find out. I'd asked for 50 last time. This time I'm going to ask him if I can borrow 100. I'm going to give it back to him, but I want to find out if he's going to let me borrow. Hey, guy. Hey, if I could borrow 100. 100. Okay, but I'm really going to need it back. No problem. Maximum loan level, $100. And as it turns out, he went to all the friends and did loan level checks on all of my friends. He wanted to find out how much he could borrow from all of my friends. He got a minimum loan level and a maximum loan level. And he was setting us up the same way you'd set up somebody when you're trying to do a bank job. You go into the bank, you go in to deposit some money. Nobody's going to suspect this kindly gentleman putting money in a bank that he's a part of, right? He's not going to rob his own bank, is he? No. Of course not. He comes in, and a couple times he comes in without his ID, and the teller lets him get away with it. Oh, mental note. This teller will allow me to take out money without ID. Fantastic. Takes a quick look around, sees all of where the cameras are, notices that the security guard is too busy looking at his stupid cell phone to notice that people are coming in, and now he has all the information that he wants, and he just waits and waits. He waits to find out from the teller that lets him, do the thing. He likes her, so he's going to make sure she's not in the bank when his boys come back to rob. I'm going on vacation next week. So what you're saying is you definitely will not be in the line of fire. Here next week. No, I won't be here next week. Fantastic. Will that security guard still be here? Oh yeah, he's still going to be here. Good. Right? And then all of a sudden he comes back in with his boys like the movie Heat. Everybody down! I want the money now! Right? Everybody's laying on the floor. They're all terrified. He's taking I don't want your money. Everybody on the floor. You're comfortable. As long as you don't move, nothing happens to you. I just want their money. He doesn't even rob the people on the floor. He just decides to rob the bank and gets out of there. Right? He runs out of there with his mask on with his boys and runs out of there with the money. Right? And then everybody on the floor gets up. They're all discussing the crime. And the security guard goes, huh? What happened? Huh? I was watching Netflix, man. This Kung Fu movie's really, really good on Netflix. What happened with the bank? We were just robbed! Oh, man, was a robber here? I'll get him. We were already robbed! Oh, all right. Guess I'm fired, huh? You're damn right! Oh, okay. Right? That guy was scoping us out to find out what he was going to do for the big scam. Then what did he do? He comes to me, a punk ass teenager, punk ass who can give him 40. But he didn't want to bang me too hard, so he asked for 30. It was below the 40, so instead of going, 40, I went, 30, all right. And I gave him the 30. And then so he went to that guy that gave him 100. He didn't ask for 100, he asked for 75. And the guy went, yeah, okay, sure, all right, there you go. And he went to everybody, and everybody got scammed. But nobody thought much of it because the amount he took from each one of us individually was above our minimum, but below our maximum. It was below our maximum. So we were okay with it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. And the money that he took from each one of us was so low that we didn't even bring it up with the other people, right? Had he took the maximum that he could get from each one of us, we would all be like, wait a second, he took what from you? He got me too, that bastard. And we'd all went to his house and whooped his ass. But as it turns out, all of a sudden, this particular person, after he gets all of this money from each one of us on an individual basis, his punk ass didn't even bother coming back to the clubs anymore, that bastard. And all these years went by. All these years go by. And as it turns out, none of us even remembered that the bastard stuck us for all that money. And all these years go by where I'm a grown man now. I'm a middle-aged man now. They're older guys now. None of us gives a crap. I don't give a crap about a guy getting $40 from me 30 years ago. What the hell do I care about that? Or 30-something years ago? Same thing with them. Right? And that's what happens. People will check your loan level. And that's just the money thing. It's not always just money. People will check your loan levels, metaphorically speaking. They'll check your loan levels in many ways. You've seen a guy or a gal that's in a relationship, right? And they flirt a little bit, and their wife or their husband doesn't pay much attention. He ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. They don't pay attention, right? And they keep going and ratcheting it up and ratcheting it up and ratcheting it up until the spouse goes, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing, you bastard? And they know, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. There are people that cheat on their spouse, right? And the spouse takes them back. And if the spouse tortures them, makes their life a living hell after the cheating, they're less inclined to go, I ain't gonna go through that again. I'm not gonna split all our money in half and have to visit the kids and all of that crap. And I know she's been taking kung fu classes. She ain't gonna give me a crescent kick to the throat when I come out the bathroom. Hell no, I'm not even gonna, only titties, I'm gonna look at her titties. If somebody with big titties comes up to the table, I'm going to get one of those racing horse blinders on, and I'm going to pull it out of my bag and put it over my head, and the waitress is going to go, sir, I'm trying to take your order. Why did you reach into your bag and pull out those horse blinders? I mean, it's really kind of weird. The people in the restaurant are staring at you. Listen, honey. When you were coming over here, I noticed you have big, delicious breasts, and I was not going to look at those delicious breasts. So I put this horse blinder on because I want my wife to know that I'm going really over the top to let her know that I am not looking at your delicious breasts. So her breasts are delicious, huh? I just, well, look, you notice I put the damn blinders on. So just, you lucky you put them blinders on, because if you didn't put them, you'd have waited another couple of seconds to put them blinders on. You know what you would have been putting on after an oxygen mask when they woke your ass up in the ambulance. I know that much. That's right, honey, blinders. I do not see her delicious breasts, and I definitely do not see her scrumptious ass. Oh, so her ass is scrumptious. You better, exactly. And sometimes people let you get away with things. And the more they let you get away with, the more you're inclined to do something bad. Do something bad. Well, I'm one of those people now that I kind of shut crap down immediately. I don't play any of that crap. If you do something to me that I don't like, I'm going to tell you immediately. Now, if it's a situation where it would be embarrassing, like if I'm with my significant other, whoever I'm with at the time, and they do something that they're like a little bit, like, you ever watch a sitcom where the wife's like squeezing some dude's biceps or some crap like that and going over the top about it, and you kind of got to laugh it off. You're like, and she doesn't detect that she's being inappropriate. You don't think she's actually going to do anything with the guy. That isn't even crossing your mind. You just don't like the way she's behaving, especially if you're standing there with her and she's going on about this guy's muscles and all that kind of stuff, and everyone else in the room is looking at you. You know, when people know something's bad's happening to you and they don't want to look at you right away and they're kind of embarrassed the rest of the evening, and the person doing the embarrassing, making you look like an idiot, doesn't detect the fact that they ruined your evening and made you look like a dope. Well, if you don't say anything, they're going to keep doing it. I've been in that situation where I said to a girlfriend in the car when we were going home, I said, listen, it's never even crossed my mind that you're going to be unfaithful, but I'll be honest with you, when you were rubbing on that dude's arms and that kind of stuff, you may have thought of it as innocent, but it made me uncomfortable. And the people that we were sitting with while you were doing that were looking at me with a slight bit of sympathy, and it kind of made everyone uncomfortable. I don't like that. I know that you're kind of a flirty person. I also know that you're a faithful person. And I would prefer that you don't go on about some dude's biceps and crap like that. I would prefer if you didn't do that at all. But at the very minimum, you can't do that if I'm sitting there with you. It makes me look like an idiot. And the fact the guy whose arm you were rubbing was looking at me like he was expecting me to pick a fork off the table and jam him in the throat. And I wouldn't do that. I waited until later on, and then I beat his ass. Which is why we're driving away from the restaurant this quickly, because he said he was going to call the police. I did not beat that guy's ass. Right? I mean, I've had girlfriends that were with me after shows, and women come up to me, oh, Dimples, he. They want to hug me, and they you know how weird it is when you're a guy in a relationship. You do your show, and after the show, the guys want to high five you and hug you, which is cool. The ladies want to high five you and hug you. Next thing you know, they're like kissing you on the forehead or kissing you on the cheek because they think your dimples are so deep. You're a cutie, right? So the guy's looking at me like, I mean, he was hilarious. Now I gave him a standing ovation and everything, and I ain't say you can be damn near slurping on his dimples now. But they're looking at me like, look, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm not gonna whoop your ass, but I'm a little uncomfortable about my girlfriend slurping on your dimples. And then my woman's looking at me like, I know that bitch is not slurping. Them dimples belong to me. I know why that bitch is slurping on your dimples. And I'm like, and I give the woman, and she walks away, and then the guy's looking back at me, and you can see his face soften towards me because he's not mad at me, because he saw that I was uncomfortable in that situation. But he's looking at his girlfriend, and you know, daggone well, there's going to be a lot of yelling in the car, right? And your girlfriend's looking at her, you're looking at you, and you're like, I can't believe she did that. You got to play that crap off. I can't believe she did that. I didn't want to embarrass her, but that was completely inappropriate. I tell you that right now. And the girlfriend's like, yes, that's definitely inappropriate. I'm mad at her, not you. And that's right? And then you walk into the car, and she's like, she looks down to pick up something off the ground and realizes you got a boner the size of a baseball bat. She goes, oh, well, you're embarrassed, but what about that? And I'm going, wait, baby, this gigantic boner had nothing to do with that woman slurping on my face with her big breasts and delicious buttocks, and the fact that she's walking away and I can actually hear music as her delicious ass swings. It has nothing to do with that. This is boners for you. And she goes, hey, well, it's not going to be for me tonight. And I'm like, why are you going to deny me some delicious buttocks because of her? I didn't do anything. And she goes, well, all right, you're right. You're definitely right. I shouldn't blame you. And I'm like, thank you, honey. And then later on, in the middle of getting it on with her, instead of saying her name, you go, random woman in the audience. Did you just say random woman in the audience while we were getting it on? I did not say that. I thought that moving on. You have to be very, very careful. And you have to make sure that people understand the boundaries. People will check your loan level, metaphorically speaking, your loan level all the time. And you have to make sure you do whatever you have to do to either stop them from getting the loan, don't loan them the money, metaphorically speaking, and shut them down, or realize, and this is something I'd never do, that they're going to keep borrowing this amount of money on a regular basis, and prepare yourself for it. As I've already stated, I don't play that crap. I was wondering if I could borrow $20, and I'll even say it to people, I mean, obviously not that amount, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm going to borrow this $20. You can borrow this $20. Well, I need you to understand one thing. One, I'm going to need it back. And two, this is not going to be a habit. You can't keep coming back to me and borrowing money every 5 seconds. You got a whole lot of friends. Like, if it's an emergency, I'll be there for you. But you can't think of me as a payday loan office where you don't have to pay interest. And the guy goes, what if I gave you interest? And I said, okay, all right. I'm going to loan you just $20. And I'm going to need $9,000 back. And then he gave me the $9,000 back, which is why I'm quitting comedy, because I am now worth $15 billion. Obviously, that's not true. But what I'm saying, folks, is people will check your loan level. They'll check your loan level, metaphorically speaking, in every aspect of your life. And you have to be prepared for it and do what I do. If you're going to make the loan to your boy, let him know, 1, here's the bread. 2, this is what I needed back. 3, this will not be a habit. If the thing you're checking is something like in the relationship thing I talked about, talk to your woman, talk to your man immediately and let them know you feel uncomfortable. Don't be mean about it. Just shut that crap down and let them know you're not putting up with that garbage. You're not going to put up with that crap. Oh, hell no. You dig? Good. Well, folks, this has been episode number 368 of the S. Anthony Says podcast. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. I will see you again next time. I was going to rattle off all the places where this podcast is. Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Spotify, blah, blah, blah. Everywhere that they play podcasts, this podcast is old. Everywhere that they play the podcast, I'm there. Okay, so if you want to know where, and I have 2 podcasts, this podcast called the S. Anthony Says podcast, and my second podcast called the S. Anthony Thomas Show. The S. Anthony Thomas Show also is everywhere that they play podcasts. Just basically Google my name, S. Anthony Thomas, and you'll find all my stuff. You'll find my podcast, both podcasts. Subscribe to them. I would appreciate it. Rate them. I would appreciate it. Tell your friends about them. I would appreciate it. Much love to every last one of you, no matter what country you're listening to. Much love to you. Love every last one of you bastards, and I will see you again next time. Now, I'm going to say goodbye the way I've been saying goodbye for years. I know you know. We're going to all do it on the count of 3. Are you ready? Of course you are. 1, 2, 3. S. Anthony. Out.
Go. S. Anthony Thomas. Go. S. Anthony Thomas. Go. S. Anthony Thomas. Go. S. Anthony Thomas. Go ahead and laugh. Go ahead and smile. Go ahead and giggle. We're gonna get wild. Go ahead and clap. Go ahead and cheer. We're gonna have a good time while up in here.